Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about divorce and estate planning. Before I do that though, I want to remind you, if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning or probate, and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com. Okay. Divorce and estate planning, probably kind of a touchy subject, something a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it is something that is important if you are going through it, okay? Personal share, I'm divorced, okay? So I've been through this a little bit. I understand the things that are there. I have kids, and so this stuff is important. But I've had a couple of different things sort of pop up over the last couple, actually like week or so, that made me want to talk about this again. First story is I was in Fort Worth, Texas at a business meeting, and the business meeting was over. I was literally just kind of like killing some time before I had to go hop on the plane and come back here to Kirkland. And I was sitting at the bar because I was by myself eating some tacos, and I overheard this guy sitting next to me. He said that he owned a law firm, and so I was. Although I'm actually not that chatty out there in the real world, I was like, hey man, you own a law firm? He's like, yeah, blah, blah. I start talking. Turns out he has been separated from his wife for like 20 years, okay? A long time. It's sort of it's a cultural thing. It's a family thing. There's like a bunch of different reasons why. So whether or not they actually ever get divorced, does not matter to me. That's not the point. The point though is they're not together anymore. They don't want to, they are not really super interested in sharing things together. And so, you need to take care of that and think about that for a couple of different reasons. Reason number one, and I'll get to the second story after this, okay? The first thing that comes along with estate planning when you're getting divorced or when you are separated is power of attorney, okay? If you have been married and you have done your estate plan, you probably named your spouse as your power of attorney. That power of attorney does not end because you are having marital conflict. When you actually finalize your divorce, it's probable that the power of attorney will not work for your ex-spouse anymore. But until that time is up, you are still considered to be married, and that power of attorney would still be valid. If you do not have them named as a power of attorney, you should consider naming someone else anyway. The person that you would want to be in charge of your finances if you were in a car accident or if something happened to you that left you incapacitated. Same thing with your medical power of attorney. Okay, if someone that you want making medical decisions for you, someone that you want that could potentially access your medical records. If you are going through a divorce and you are not getting along with people, you may not want them to have access to those records. For that reason, you would want to rescind your medical power of attorney, and you would probably want to name someone else, okay? The third thing that comes up is, and this is important for this person that I was just referencing in this story, those two things in particular. The other thing is, too, if you die and you are still married, even if you're going through a divorce, that person is still considered to be your spouse. If you name them in the will, they're going to get what you gave to them. If they are not named in the will, and if you don't have a will, they are still going to get, at least in Washington, all of your community property, which is for most people is just about everything. So if you don't want them to get everything, then you should create a will or update your will and reflect your choices with regard to where you want your assets to go. And I will say this too, if you have kids and you think to yourself, well, I will just give everything to my spouse or to my soon-to-be ex-spouse, they will take care of the kids with that money, I would encourage you to exert a little more control over the potential future of your children and set it up in a way where your assets will be earmarked for your children for sure, and not subject to the whims of your ex-spouse or the whims of sort of fate. Okay, we can talk about those different things in a different video, but just know that whenever you are going to entrust assets to someone for the care of someone else, and you're doing it via a will, you are really setting yourself up for potential disaster if something happens to that person, or if they would just change their mind. Okay, so keep that in mind. The second story relates to all of this in that we are doing a probate for someone right now, a client who was going through a divorce at the time. They were separated and the spouse died, and that the future ex-spouse, or whatever you want to call them, is going to be getting the assets from the deceased spouse's estate. They did not have a will, and when you don't have a will, you simply look at what the law says, and the law says the spouse gets all of the community property. So in this case, it is working out for the soon-to-be ex-spouse in a way. I don't know what the deceased spouse wanted in this instance, because obviously they are not around to be able to tell us that. Hopefully this is what they wanted. They were making an informed decision. If you want this to happen, that's fine. But I really am making this video and I create all this content just to help educate you about these things so you can make informed choices and really be in charge of your life, of your family, of your assets, and do the things that you really need to do. Jan, when you say pets, pets, same thing. I mean, if you're married still, the pets would go to the spouse, presumably. If you own the pets together and you died, the pets would go to the spouse still, okay? In a will, I don't know if you could give away half of a pet, community property, you have your half. That would probably be an interesting court case if people were very serious about the pets, and I know people are. But it kind of depends on the specific circumstances when it comes to any of these questions that you're going to ask, okay? So that is it. If you are divorcing, you should really consider updating your estate plan to reflect your current wishes when it comes to who you want to take care of you if you are incapacitated, where you want your assets to go, and how you want those things to be handled over time. All right, that's it. Hopefully this helped. If it did, hit the like button or leave a comment to follow me if you want to get some more information. And if you have specific questions about estate planning or probate and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com. All right, that is it. As always, I am Christopher Small. I am the owner of CMS Law Firm. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you again soon. See ya.